Welcome back. Now we answer questions we receive from you, our viewers. If you have a question, visit our website, QuranSpeaks.com. Dr. Shabir, the question is, who is Mary Magdalene, and is there any mention of her in Islamic sources?
Mm-hmm. So I'll start with the last part first. No, unfortunately, there's no mention of Mary Magdalene in the Islamic sources that I know of. Certainly no mention in the Quran, and I'm not aware of any hadith that mentions her specifically. Though there's a lot of mention of Mary, the mother of Jesus, in the Quran itself and in other Islamic sources. But who is Mary Magdalene? She is known from the Gospels to be a very prominent disciple of Jesus, on whom be peace. But of course, given the circumstances at the time, it's the male disciples who get the prominence. But she's there in the story at many crucial junctures. She's said to be a woman from whom 7 spirits had been driven. And of course, we're talking about exorcism as a way of dealing with persons at the time who might have had some, mental issues. But nonetheless, she's said to be cured of that. And she was there close to Jesus. And she is the person who is credited in the gospel narratives as one of the first persons to find the tomb of Jesus empty after Jesus was said to have been entombed. In John's gospel, it seems that she's the only one at a certain juncture, but then later on she says we, so probably there were other women along with her. Outside of the New Testament, there are what are referred to as apocryphal gospels that make mention of her, and there are several gospels that do. One gospel is known as the Gospel of Philip, and this gospel speaks of her apparently, because scholars are trying to reconstruct it from fragments, but what some are reading into this is that this is referring to Mary Magdalene as the disciple that was beloved to Jesus, and that he used to kiss her on the mouth. Apparently, this is what is being said. Now, that raises the question of whether Jesus was married at all, and whether he might have been married to Mary Magdalene. Mm-hmm. But that's very interesting, that Mary Magdalene has this kind of prominence, especially in the apocryphal writings, and that she has been dropped into obscurity throughout the ages, now only to be recovered with the discovery of these apocryphal gospels.
So, you talked about the apocryphal gospels. Is she treated with respect more generally within Christianity?
Not that much is said about her, although she is regarded as a saint, or at least with great respect in many branches of Christianity. Yes, she is treated with respect, but she did not get that sort of prominence as a disciple of Jesus, although she was there fair and square with the gentleman in her time.
Mm-hmm. I guess in Islam, we don't know very much about Jesus' disciples anyway, so whether male or female.
Yes, and the Quran does not tell us if Jesus was married or not, neither does the Islamic sources, and this remains an open possibility for Muslims.
Dr. Shabir, what evidence was there that Jesus was married?
Well, there isn't any, actually. Anthony LaDon, the historian of Jesus, in his book, Wife of Jesus with a question mark, points out that there's no mention that Jesus was married in the Gospels or even in the apocryphal writings. And as for his being possibly married to Mary Magdalene, this is very remote, because there is no mention, even though there's a lot of mention of Mary Magdalene, but no mention that she was the wife of Jesus. But Anthony LaDon thinks that given the time and circumstance, it's possible that Jesus was married, especially during those years, which are known as the 18 missing years, from the time he was 12 years old till the time he was 30 years old. Nobody knows anything about him during that time. So it's possible that he got married, and perhaps his wife died. Women at the time often succumbed in childbirth. So that's a possibility, and God knows best. But there's nothing clear. There's no actual evidence that Jesus was married. And of course, it seems unlikely that he was married to Mary Magdalene, because she's not introduced as the wife of Jesus in the narratives.
Thank you for your thoughts, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe. And please donate to support our work at QuranSpeaks.com.